All right, thank you so much. Okay, I saw response coming in. Okay, so thank you everyone. Good evening. Yes, so my name is Raymond over here from Singapore. And first of all, yes, I'm actually very excited today. So why am I excited? Yeah, because today I got my first vaccination. Okay, so why are we getting vaccination? Of course, as you can see from here, yes, I'm in a slide circle. Do you miss going on vacation? And one of the criteria that we need to, okay, in order for us to travel, okay, so there's this thing what we call the vaccine passport. Okay, so if you have not taken your vaccination, yes, my words of advice is yes, go and get it. Yeah, so because that will most probably be a requirement for a lot of us to start flying. All right. So first of all, it's like so-called welcome over here. Yes, to this global Zoom call, and yes, it's happening right here live from Singapore. So if this is the first time you're listening to this, or whether you're listening to this on the recorded version, okay. So the reason why you are here is because your friend is so excited that he or she just couldn't wait to share this piece of really cool information with you. And why? Because I believe your friend also knew that you are someone who loved to go on vacation. But of course, right now, when we start talking about things like vacation, many people will be thinking it's like so-called, Ray, are you crazy or something like this? We are actually facing the pandemic. Yes, and why are you even talking about vacation? So I'm going to show you my next slide. What's so exciting? Okay, because if you know that right now, travel is actually at the all-time low, correct or not? So when we talk about things like travel is actually at its all-time low, but we all know, okay, and I believe you know too, that travel is one of the biggest industry in the whole entire world. Okay, so why do I say so? Because reason, most of us, we work hard each day. We always have things like so-called our annual leave. And what's the reason? Because we all hope that we can actually go for a vacation, correct or not? So when during this time, when it's actually all-time low, this is always the best time for us to get into the opportunity where travel is actually involved. So a little bit history about myself. My name is Raymond over here from Singapore. And yes, most people know me as a serial entrepreneur. I run 20 over businesses over here in Singapore and Asia as well. So, yep. So, one of the businesses that I've run is actually in Changi Airport, Singapore Changi Airport. So if you land over here in Singapore, yes, I have actually a couple of restaurants over there. And yes, right now, even the restaurants in airport are all suffering. So people always ask me this question. So Ray, travel is absolutely insanity if you're talking about it right now. But I have to say one thing, all business suffer. But what happens over here? In the midst of a crisis, most important thing is if you are able to call on this opportunity, then this would be seriously a very good opportunity for you to check it out. And that's the reason why your friend actually invited you here into this call. So we are actually coming up with this very cool formula where we're actually working towards the rebound of the travel industry. So what happens over here is because somewhere around like circle in August 2020, okay, sorry, not August 2020, sorry, in 2019, in the month of November. So I actually chanced upon this opportunity. And then through my big brother, later I have to invite him out. Okay, his name is James Lee. So me and him, we got connected. I'm going to share with you a little bit more. So what happens is like he actually connected me to the founder of OMT Group, which is Dr. James Sell himself. Of course, I have been with Dr. James Sell on his company, what we call OMT Groups of Company. So they are actually like a wholesale company evolving into the travel industry. They have like 20 over partners all around the world in the business for more than 3 decades. So when I knew about this thing, and they actually shared with me things like so-called Ray, you know that we do travel, but what happens over here, we're going to evolve to the next technology, next evolution. So when I actually listen, I say, so what exactly is it all about? So which later I'm going to share with you because we're going to connect it through one of the most powerful system in the world. All right. So we all know that people would definitely travel the world again. All right. Okay. And I believe you would very much wish to travel again. Why? Because the economy needs travel to flourish. So a little bit update. It's like 2 days ago, the Prime Minister of Singapore over here even actually highlighted things like so-called they would need to open up the borders in order to travel because no matter which part of the world where you are, it's like so whether you are from Malaysia, Hong Kong, from Australia, Indonesia, I have to say one thing, each and every one of us, whichever location that we are actually located at, needs travel to boost up the economy. All right. And that goes the same where I am situated over here in Singapore. No natural resources. We depend very heavily onto the travel industry. And that's the reason why everyone have to play a part in this. But we all know, okay, if everyone actually practice safety measure, stay vigilant, what we have to say things is we all know that the travel industry would definitely rebound again. And today, we are going to share with you an idea. And it's not only an idea because we have already put it into place, which we are going to carry on this thing. And later I'm going to share with you this really amazing platform that we're going to share with you. But the question is, do you want to participate and get a slice of this pie? So why am I getting so excited? Because what you're going to see next is going to be so exciting because we all knew that the travel are already starting to open up, okay, in some countries. And definitely we saw places like Phuket. Airlines are already putting in all their plans for the direct flights all to fly into Phuket. We all know Phuket is definitely a place that depends heavily on tourism. As you can see over here, Phuket is actually already doing their countdown towards 1st of July. I mean, I actually joined one of the Facebook group, okay, called the Aspects in Phuket, okay, and they are already so exciting. People are already talking about things like when are we going over there for like so-called kite surfing, windsurfing stuff, things like this. And yes, though now we all still don't know what is the kind of situation that's happening over there. But most important thing, Phuket government has already done their vigilance and done all the safety measure to ensure that all the Phuket people, okay, have to be vaccinated before this opening. I mean, of course, even today, okay, our founder, Dr. James Sell, he's a Singaporean, but he has actually been living in Phuket for more than 20 years. And in fact, today, exactly the same day as where I am doing, we actually got vaccinated on the same day also. Yeah. So why is that so? Because we all know things like so-called all this vaccination will be one of the key entry for people to start traveling around. Okay, it's not only travel for vacation, I mean, even for business, I mean, even for the economy to improve and to flourish again, all these are definitely essential. All right. Okay, so let's do it and work towards the travel opening. So see, the thing is like when we talk about things like travel, and right now when you're listening to this, you might be thinking, hey Raymond, I knew even you don't need to tell me, I know that travel is huge. Okay. I knew that so-called there won't be a situation where we won't be traveling for the rest of our life again because we all know that we definitely have to travel again, correct? But see, the thing is like, you know, I know, but how can we actually ride on while right now, this is actually at the lowest state of travel, and how can we actually caught on it for the rebound of the travel industry, and how much are most people willing to invest to ride on the wave of rebound for this travel industry? Of course, I mean, a lot of us have this dream where you want to be a businessman, or probably even if you're listening to this call, you are already an entrepreneur, you are a businessman, or probably you're working for many years and you always wanted an opportunity to run a business. I mean, for me as well, I mean, when I run businesses, I knew it's not cheap. I mean, to run it in Singapore, it's not only in Singapore, even in whichever country that you are situated, I knew that it has never been easy to start off a business. I mean, even for me, when I buy franchise, like so-called fast food franchise, easily it cost me like 750,000 Singapore dollars, and that's somewhere around like probably 600,000 US dollar we're talking about. Okay, and that's just by buying a franchise, and for me, not even knowing will there be businesses or not. But today, we're going to connect it through this very amazing system called the blockchain technology, which is going to be very mind-blowing, which we're going to share with you right now. So when you take a look at this slides where I'm actually sharing, okay, you'll be saying, hey, Ray, I mean, so what exactly is number one, this build-up phase? Just a little bit things to share. So in August 2020, we actually launched our digital asset. Okay, so when we launch our digital asset called CYTT, so don't mistake blockchain and cryptocurrency because these are totally two different things. Because for a start, when I actually spoke to the founder, Dr. James, because I have been doing Forex for many years as well, okay, because we write algorithm system for the banks, okay, in locally and even for the foreign banks. So when I start knowing about things like this, I was thinking, hey, so why should I be going into this business? I mean, I'm actually very happy with my major pairs, buying things like Canadian, dollar, yen, stuff, things like this. But why should I be even going to things like the cryptocurrency? So if you're really new on this, not a problem. These are totally two different things. Because when we talk about things like cryptocurrency, of course, today, a lot of people are talking about things like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, all these are whatever things, what we call the buy low, sell high. And you need the heart of a lion to be in a game like this. I know some of you probably have been playing games like this, okay? I knew that some people, when they buy at night, they cannot sleep, correct or not? But when we talk about things like blockchain, it's a totally different scenario, okay? Because basically, we are actually building up this digital asset, and we have the system where you can actually multiply the digital asset. And most important thing that I really like CYTT is because there's this thing what we call utilization, okay? So meaning you can actually get CYTT, multiply it, okay? And then when you receive your this digital asset, what you can do is like so-called you can actually exchange for things like travel packages, yes, and a lot of other stuff which the company is coming up along the way. All right. So this is how we actually do it. Okay, because we are here to build a base of co-believer, okay, co-builders and even supporters to build this whole entire business up. Proud to say, in the month of August 2020, we are somewhere around like 42 weeks down the road till today. Okay. So what happened is we actually started off at the price of 14 cents, 0.14 USDT, what we call the US dollar theta. Okay, so this is actually in the cryptocurrency in the blockchain. That's actually one of the stable coin we're talking about. So we started off at 14 cents. And we are proud because today our price have actually escalated all the way to 0.383. Okay, that's a significant growth of 171%. And I have to say one thing, this is even during the COVID period where even none of us actually have an opportunity to fly. But what happens over here, we are gathering the group of people who are visionary, who's able to know that the travel industry is huge, okay? And I mean, of course, when I start sharing with my friends, I mean, my friends said, Ray, I mean, wait till the travel industry is back, then I'll be into this business. I said, cool, not a problem. But I'm still happy because from 14 cents to today, I can actually have an increased growth of my digital asset more than 171%. And that's really amazing. And not only this, we have actually built a team with more than 50,000 global users that's holding on to our digital asset. So some people say that, hey, Ray, this is slow, this is fast. I have to say one thing. The most important thing is we are doing it whether people wants to do it or not. Because whether people, whatever comment that they gave it to us, they said that, Ray, this is crazy. Probably people is not going to travel over the next 1 to 2 years. People can say all they want. But the most important thing is you must have the visionary vision where you believe. See, the thing is like so-called, if you actually wait for the time where, hey, so travel is open, okay, I want to be part of it. But see, by the time people who wants to be part of it, people are already doing it and they are already 1 to 2 steps much faster than most of the people out there. So the question is, do you want to start it fast? All right. Okay, so if you'd like to know more about this digital asset, you can actually connect it back to the friends who actually invited you here to this call and speak to him or her, and they would actually let you know how you can actually work on that. But today, we are going to share with you this really even more powerful thing that we're going to share, what we call the consumer phase. So see, you see phase one, we have actually the digital asset. Phase two is the consumer phase. So when we talk about things like the digital asset, I mean, when I share my friends out there, my friend would actually tell me things like, Ray, I don't know anything about things like digital asset. I don't want to get involved in any blockchain. I said, that's cool, not a problem. But today, because of this consumer phase, we're going to take it to another level where we're going to open it up to the rest of the world. And when I say rest of the world, we mean rest of the world. What do we mean by that? See, OMT group of companies, they are actually a wholesale travel company, which they actually provide, okay, to a lot of travel agencies out there, not only in Singapore, in Asia, and even to Middle Eastern countries like Dubai, even up to Egypt, and many countries even in China as well. And one of the big clients that they actually have is actually ctrip.com. So we all know that Ctrip is like so-called one of the search engine that we are talking about. So see, so the reason why Dr. James is able to hold on to this wholesale price is because he buy hotel in bulks. And not many people can actually afford to pay. I mean, of course, it is a business sense. You need to take the risk. You need to actually work it out. So, I mean, for him, with his experience with more than 3 decades, definitely this amazing man know what he's actually doing, okay? So, see, when he actually sell it to the travel agency or even to the search engine out there in the market, okay, he'll probably mark up 15 to 20%. All right. So when this travel agency get the travel package, they would actually mark up another 20 to 30% to sell it to the end user like me and you. Correct or not? Yep. So what happens over here? We're going to take this another step away, which means we are actually removing them away and we're going to offer near wholesale price straight to the consumer. So can you imagine how powerful this business would be? Because people will be enjoying near wholesale price, curated trip, experiential trip. But see, I'm going to invite my big brother, James Lee. Okay, so just now remember when I told you that James was the one who actually brought me into this system. And he's like my big brother to me. I knew this amazing gentleman for more than 8 years. I mean, I got connected with him through a travel club. Okay, so I mean, when I first knew him, I mean, he saw a concept, okay, in the past, 10 years ago, from US. He actually saw this concept and he brought it in over to Singapore. So it goes the same thing. When he actually did a travel club, in the past, it was like so-called the very traditional kind of travel club where people have to do things like paying like a joining fee, a monthly fee. And then when people travel, I mean, it's like so-called there's some point system stuff, things like this. The reason why I joined, because I saw good deals. And what happens that US company, a lot of their trips, what happened is actually organized by OMT Group. Yeah. So see, the thing is that so-called OMT Group, we have like Dr. James Yao, and of course the man who actually built the travel club to more than 1 million user, okay, over the period of 10 years. So when I knew that, I mean, there's like Dr. James, I know that that's my big brother James Lee, and two of them who can actually have this opportunity today to join forces to build this really amazing blockchain technology in travel. I knew one thing for sure, I want to be part of it and I don't want to miss the boat because I saw how this amazing man has actually created so many phenomenal, I mean, it's like so-called impact to the world in the travel scene. So what happens over here? I mean, long story short, because James is definitely the man who can actually share with us the vision, and he will share with every one of you how you can actually take this travel opportunity to the next higher level. I knew that right now we are actually in the COVID situation. We can't clap hand or stuff, things like this, but still we have a chat room and you're able to welcome my big brother, James Lee. Hi, big bro.
All right. Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
all right.
Raymond.
You're welcome.
And of course, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up, for being here this evening, where you can hear us out. What are we actually doing to prepare ourselves to capture the rebound of the travel industry? I mean, this is really a historic event that nobody actually anticipated. The whole entire world, over the past over 1 year plus, kind of like whole world lockdown, the whole entire travel industry is kind of like crippled a little bit. But this also gave us some time right now to actually build up this whole entire foundation as we revamped or actually kind of like create a new structure to go out there and build and write on the blockchain technology. Now, this is actually really, I have to say that we are all very excited. I mean, Raymond, Dr. James, they took their vaccine first dose today. Actually, this Monday, I just took my second dose. So I'm vaccinated. So now, of course, on my 4th day, and of course, everything is good. So what happened here really, as we are talking about like growing this whole entire platform, how are we riding on it using the blockchain technology? I mean, as you can see earlier on when Raymond talked about the first phase, which is the build-up phase. The build-up phase is literally just getting people to actually own this digital asset as we multiply them, grow them, so that once you actually get to our third phase, we actually broken it up into what Dr. James himself actually with the team was actually looking at how do we actually build it sequentially so that we can actually get this whole entire platform ready for the market, which is the first phase, which is purely on a build up, which is getting the digital assets. As people are holding on to this digital asset, how do we actually reach out to the consumer? As what we are actually entering into this phase of consumer phase, where we actually have a new app that is actually launching so that we can actually get the masses out there who doesn't even know anything about blockchain or doesn't even own any digital asset to be able to actually get involved by just getting into a consumer app, free download, and then they can actually look at all the trips and packages of all the experiences. Now, this is actually not just any booking engine where you just book a hotel room or flights or whatever. While there are functions like that inside, but most importantly is that within the app, later which I will show you the mock-up, where that you will actually get all these experiential trips, created trips, that actually has all your land-based, so-called land transfers, the experiences to all the visitation, visit of different so-called places of interest within the package, and also airport transfers, right? And all the meals and all this are all taken care of. So the whole entire experience is packaged into it. So right now in the whole world right now, there isn't a package deal kind of application. Most of the booking engine, they are all booking purely on just the hotel rooms, and then basically that's it, right? So you have to do separate booking of all the other services. But this is actually a created trips for all of your experience all in one. So when we actually launch this out, of course, later you're going to see that we need two groups of people to actually help us build this consumer base. Now, while reaching out to this whole entire group, right, we need these two groups. First, of course, we need this group called the agent or the representative. Now, agents and representative doesn't mean that as an agent, you become a travel agency where you have to actually go out there, create the trips yourself or whatever. As what Raymond earlier on was basically telling all of us, when the company OMT group, they are the one who actually create all the trips, all the connections, all the services, experience of the travel. They are the one who actually created that. So we don't need to go out there and create it. All we need as an agent, as a roles and responsibility of an agent or representative, all we need is a very simple task, which is actually we get a link and then we can send out. If you are agent or representative, you can send out this download link to the contacts, to the people around, and they can also forward this to other people. As you build up this whole entire consumer base through this distribution channel, you are able to then basically become the agent and get a slice of that productivity and that booking of the trips as people, the consumer booked it. So this is actually, in fact, any person out there, layman like you and me, we can, even we do not have any experience in the travel industry, we are able to actually participate as well. So of course, if you are in the travel industry or whatever, you're more than welcome and you will know the significance of that. Why? Because this is where the benefit of being an agent is. So while you do not need all the overheads, employment and all that to actually create your whole entire company around the travel industry to actually build up on that, as an agent, because you send out the link and download this, the consumer download the applications, and as they actually book on all these trips and packages, you can actually write on an 8% of the package deal that is actually being booked. Now, that is pretty significant, as you see, because you do not, as I said, you don't have any overheads. You don't need to go out there and build your team of people within the travel industry to go out and create the trips and service all these tourists on different globally. And this is literally outreach to the global market, right? So you get an 8% on that. And this is actually pretty significant. Like what we said earlier on, like Raymond said, for any of all this travel agency or retailers, as they get all these wholesale package deals, they will normally have to mark it up again because they have to make their own profit margin. So over here, as we go direct into the consumer market, we can effectively even help the consumers save on not inflated or markup pricing. So they get direct near wholesale price, and this is where the 8% is. So that's why this is really a win-win-win for all the parties involved, right? Not just that, if you are an agent, you actually get an 8% to directly from your own consumer base. And then if you actually build this agent network, the agent network, as they go out and develop their own consumer market, they will in turn get their own 8%. But because you build the network of the agent network, you will get override a 2% of whatever consumer network that they build. You will get that 2%. So that's an overriding of a 2%. And that's all. All right. So not just that, in order for you to actually grow another network, which is the representative network, they will actually get a percentage of their own consumer, but you override a 3%. So over here, you can see that it's actually a two-tier structure. So it's not inflated. It's not multi-level. It's not nothing wrong with multi-level. It's just that there's no structure to actually position that way. So this is actually, I would say, outreach to almost the whole entire world, right? You can actually operate, including China as well. So this is actually a two-level structure that actually has the ability for you to actually participate and get your consumers out there. And not just that, this actually, if you think about it, this is actually, okay, I'll take an example. Like, let's say Raymond is the agent and he sent a link to me. I download the app. I'm a pure consumer. And when I look at all the package deals, good deals, I got really, really happy and excited. I want to travel. I want to go. When I want to go, I won't go alone. I will book for someone else. I will book for my family and all that. Not just that, I could also send my link to someone else and they can actually download as well. And when they download it, they are actually a consumer as well. And consumer to who? To Raymond as well. So that's how you actually expand on this. So naturally, this is not just you as an agent send out to someone and they download. And if they are consumer, they send out to other people. That whole entire consumer group is all belong to the agent. Make sense? So when you understand the significance of this can be really, really very, very promising in terms of how much of all that capturing of that travel expenditures in the market, in the consumer market, you will actually get a ride on it, okay? And not just that, as an agent, as of what we are speaking here, if you're an agent, you will get 1 4-day 3 nights package as well. So this is actually a perk, a promotion right now for anyone who actually become an agent. Now, of course, being a rep, the structure is the same. It's just that a percentage is slightly lower because I would say the entry level for a rep is also much lower. All right, so you get a 5% and the structure of 2%. If you build an agent as a rep, you can also build an agent network. And if you build a rep network, you will get also a 2%. At the same time, you get a 1 times 4-day 3 nights trip as well. Okay, so this is actually as a benefit. But talking about that, some of the people may be thinking, so how significant is this? How much are we talking about? So let me actually go into a calculation model. All right, so at least you will be able to see this whole entire percentage actually turn out. I mean, if we are looking at any business out there, we have to look at what's the projection. So this is where we can actually show you based on the numbers. So numbers don't lie, right? So we can actually put in all the figures here. As you can see right here on the top right here, the table here is just to show you what are being actually used for these calculation purposes, and also what will also be included in future into the app as well. So as you can see right now, based on all this calculation, we are just looking at only the curated trips with the percentage. As I said earlier, about the 8%, the 3% on the rep network, and then the agent network 2%. So as a rep, you can see here is 5 to 2. All right. So of course, you can also see the rest of it, we have not added them in because those percentages will vary. Depends on what is the booking engine, depend on what are the retail shops and merchants and restaurants or all that. It's all going to be varying. So all this we are not even taking into consideration or account at this point. So let's just look at this and assume that you are an agent, all right? If today you are an agent or a representative, if you committed to this business, obviously you'll be looking at how many consumer do I want to actually build on, right? So nobody will start a business, open a shop, and then close it and don't do anything. Am I correct? So let's say today, if you say, okay, I am an agent, okay? So what is your anticipated number of consumer that you want to actually acquire over a 1-year period? I don't know about any one of you out there. If you look at it, I said that some of you might put in some numbers here. Joey, thank you. You put in 300. Yeah, I would say like, okay, Raymond, you say 400. In fact, the other day I told some of them, right? It's like we even have someone who actually, when I asked the same question, in the mind, she already say 3,000 in the first place. All right. So obviously different people will have different numbers in their mind, how big or how small they want to get. All right. Calvin, you said 888. Okay, great number. But even if you think about it, if one person, one consumer per day, 1 year later is 365. And this is not even, and thank you, Pauline, 500. No, you see, the thing is, this is actually, we are just looking at it by saying that this is not you going to spend money out there to actually acquire this consumer, or you have to do a lot of effort. This is purely sending out a link, to your, through your social media, through your contact base, through your network of contacts, or your influence, through your network of influence. So as you actually send it out to them, as they see the potential of this, of not the business, it's just getting good deals, great offers, and all that. As a consumer, they will start sending out to other people as well. As that snowball, that's going to be pretty significant. And if you think about it, I'll just start off with just 300, since Joey put it there as 300 first, right? So 300 as a consumer. We haven't even looked at building up your network of agents or representatives. So as the 300 consumer over a 1 year period, as you can see earlier, Raymond talked about like countries are opening up. In fact, I know Singapore right here, we are also talking about the how do we actually open up to get more people, to travel, to actually start crossing borders again and all that. That's why we are talking about all the vaccination and everything. So as we talk about the next 1 year, I don't know, when people actually start traveling, let's say to Phuket, right? So how much do you think as a consumer they are going to spend per year? All right. So I would say that average, I mean, some people may spend a few $100s. Some people may spend a few $1,000s. Some people may even spend, like 12,000, 20,000 if a whole family going on a trip. Easily, we're talking about that, right? So how about we just put in a figure just to estimate? Let's say out of the 300, not everybody is going to spend thousands of dollars. We average that out to say 500 for a start. By just doing that, you can see that the average of that spending of 500 as an agent, because you are the one who connected this consumer base as they grow, or they are just there as that 300 and they spend, you get a 12,000 on your overriding on the 8%, which is pretty good. I mean, this 12,000, you may some people may say, oh, it's only 12,000, but think about it. That 12,000 could be your paid for your own trip for your family, right? But this is talking about as you have a business that actually ride onto the travel industry. Now let's talk about like if you start sharing and start talking about it, and people start seeing the app with the ability to connect other consumers, will there be a chance that they say, I want to be an agent like you? So let's say you only manage to get 3 of them who said, I want to be an agent, because people have to pay to become an agent, right? It's not free or whatever. A consumer is free, by the way, right? They can just download. But in order for them to participate as an agent, they will actually have to pay for a fee, right? Just like any business, like a franchise or whatever, they need to pay a fee. So as they pay for this agent rights, let's say you get 3 of them. What about reps? I mean, it's a lower entry point. Let's say you get 3, and then the agents, I don't know how many agents you get. I don't know. I put here as 3, but what about representative? What about you say that I will get, let's say, I don't know, double that. That's 6. Not too bad. And if each of them, of these agents and reps, they do, I don't know, close to you, or some might even do more than you. I don't know. Anyone could go out there and blast it out to their contact base. Like I said, this lady told me 3,000 is her target, right? So I don't know. So let's say we just say that they are all doing similar, right? Let's say 300. And then the agents and the reps, they are also each doing 300. You can already see a pretty significant kind of like growth or multiplying effect of what as an agent or representative you could actually potentially gain from that commission structure of the overriding of just booking of all these trips packages. Now, as this is talking about the first year of running it, and I don't know if you think about it, with that consumer, as they actually start opening up into the third year, second year, third year, or even fifth year, this consumer base is just going to continue to grow. As they actually grow from 300, it could actually grow, I don't know, yourself personally, to 500 in 3 years' time. How about that? I mean, that is already kind of like, I'm just being very conservative, right? So, and your agents maybe never grow. Reps maybe grow to 10. I don't know, maybe here they grow to 5, maybe, all right? And then they actually grow to, they didn't grow as fast, average out to 400. Can you see that that is already a significant jump? And that is even without the amount that they spend on the trips. Now, as people can start traveling, seeing the value and getting on and all that stuff happening, and when the travel industry start to open up, back to like near the norm, I would say, where people all want to start traveling into Europe, into Africa, around Asia, America, South America, everything, everywhere. As people start going and we have trips that covers all around the world, this consumer base, do you think that they're going to just spend 500 on an average? I would say that if they just spend, I don't know, I mean, how much do you think on this average, as you are going back into like the third year mark and all that stuff, what do you think people are going to start spending? I would say easily, how about 1,008? I mean, it's 1,008 for a whole year of travel, buying on packages. I mean, we all spend more than that, I'm sure, right? So by just looking at this number, I think tonight you won't be able to sleep, right? So you can literally see, just by just doing the minimum of whatever this whole thing can grow, you can already see a pretty significant revenue income stream coming into what we has actually set up and built right now. So that's why this is actually pretty significant. I hope you guys can catch on this vision of how we could actually build this foundation right now as we actually start opening up, waiting for this whole entire world to open up. So as the world starts to open up and these things just keep flowing in, at that time, what do you think this thing is going to be worth to any one of us out here? And this is just talking about a consumer app. We haven't even talked about how it links back to our travel blockchain. So that's why I'm so excited when Dr. James told me about this whole entire model and platform and how he has actually devised out and built up on this whole entire thing. I'm just blown away, because I know that once we actually have all this components all build up and travel. Of course, when he told me about this, we don't have COVID in mind. Nobody knows COVID is going to happen. Nobody knows the extensiveness on how long it's going to be. But that is something that I have to really take my hats off Dr. James. I mean, up until this point, he is relentless. He actually just keep moving forward. He's actually going because he wants to build this for the travel industry. And we are actually part of it. We can ride on it together. Right? As you actually see, of course, the next question people might ask is, okay, so how do I get involved to become an agent or representative? How much does it cost? I mean, looking at a business that could actually bring that potential to any one of us here, right? What would that cost? I mean, if any travel company or people want to actually get involved and build on a travel business, easily you talk about 6 figures, 7 figures. But of course, for any one of us out here, if you're looking at this, the value proposition is really, really high, right? So it's actually cost us to become an agent with the agent rights is $15,000 okay? 15,000 US, some of you might say, wow, it's going to cost so much. Or some of you are going to say, oh, only 15,000? It really depends on what's your own perspective of this. But looking at what is the potential of how we could actually build towards that and ride on this whole entire reopening, rebound, and all that stuff, I would say 15,000 is definitely worth it. But the thing is, the good news, we don't have to pay the 15,000 at this point. If you're looking at this up until from now until 6th of June, okay, you only need 6,000, which is almost like not even half of the 15,000. Okay, so you are actually having a more than 50% discount here. So, and not just that, up until 6th of June, you can't even pay cash right here. All right, you have to actually get 15,796 CYTT, which is our digital asset we talk about. So when you actually acquire this digital asset, then you actually use it to become the agent. Okay, so now this price is going to stay forever. All right, so every month after June 6th, right, we have a promotion until 6th June. So after that, it's going to go up 10% every month on a monthly basis until it hits 15,000. Or why you see there's a maximum of agent rights, because every country there is a limit to the number of agents there is. So Singapore, we do have a limit of 60 agents. We are very near to 60 already. So I hope that anyone out there, if you're from Singapore, snap it up quick. Of course, Malaysia, Hong Kong, South Africa, Indonesia, different countries, even US, we have all these different agent rights numbers. We actually open up to Philippines. We also have into Thailand as well. We are working on like Taiwan as well, of course. So all this is the agent rights if you actually get into that. Okay, so this is a one-time transfer. You actually basically buy into this agent rights, and that is yours for the rest of your life. All right, so once you actually get the agent rights, you can actually start sending out, once the app is launched, you can send out the link to people to download them. So if you are a rep per se, right, the rep, like I said, is a much lower, right? It's actually $8,000 US. So same thing, up to 6th of June, you only need to actually pay 3,630, but you can't pay it in cash. You actually have to actually acquire the CYTT 9,478. Okay. So same thing, every month there will be increment of 10% increase of that price all the way until it hits the 8,000 so-called value of the rep rights. All right. So it's for rep wise is unlimited. All right. Same thing. It's a one-time transfer, non-refundable. So with this also as an agent and rep is global. You're not just restricted to within your own country. So as an agent, you can actually sign up other agents, reps, or consumers globally, but only accept agent. You cannot sign agents from China. Likewise, China will not be able to sign international agents. But of course, anyone can sign up reps and consumer globally. Okay, so I just want to make it very clear here to all of us so that we understand this so-called criteria. All right. So with this, of course, the next thing I want to show very quickly to all of you, because the app is actually still in the process of building up, of actually doing all different functionalities and everything. In fact, we actually get a glimpse of it. If you are already a rep or agent, you can already get the so-called the structure of it. You can download it and all that stuff. Once you actually get the rights, you can actually download it. But of course, there's a lot of functionalities, everything that they're developing. They're actually enhancing it. In fact, they're actually creating something pretty cool, which all of us is going to be able to actually get a hand of it, by sometime in July. So I would say that once you actually get that hold of that, and with that, you can send out to all the consumers and start building up. Even people can't travel right now, they can already start seeing all the different trips and everything. And when they want to actually travel, like to Phuket, for example, if you don't need to be quarantined, in and out, and all that stuff, I think people will start traveling again. So when that happens, so when the app is ready, I would say that's how we actually rock and roll. Okay. On what is this? You guys can see this screen right now. So this is actually this is a mock-up, by the way. All right. So when people actually, you send the link to them, they click on register, they register for their account, and this is free for them to register. So if they're not an agent or rep, they don't have to pay anything. So all they need to do is to get the link from you and they download it. Once they download, they register. And once they register, they get into the app, they will be able to see the whole series of all the different functionalities and everything. Of course, there's also provision of like online shopping, all this accommodation, which is hotel bookings and flights and all that stuff. Those are all there, but that is not the key. The key for us here is this app on its own. It's where they booked on all the created trips, experiences. As you can see, they're different. Of course, they can click on it with different, all the different tours, structures, and everything. All right, as you can see there. And most importantly, once they click into a particular trip, They will show them the whole entire package, what it entails. People will comment that because we are building this community, people who travel, a global community of travelers, right? So when they actually get into this whole entire so-called trip itself, they will be able to then see what is the itineraries, day one, day two, what is entails, what are the whole entire services. That's why we say that this is not just a booking of a hotel room. Okay, so a lot of all this app out there, they are just booking of a hotel room, but here is created offers. All right, so where all the experiences, you know, and everything is all packaged in for the users. All right, so not just that, because as we said that this is like a community based, you know, you have follower lists, you have a team and all that stuff. You can even invite them to look at the particular trip. So of course, if you are the agent, as you send it out to all this, your network of users, consumers, if they look at it and they liked it and they booked, what does it mean to you? So it's a sale when that's the override of that. So that's why I said that with this whole entire thing, why would they also do that? Because consumer only want to look at good pricing, good deals, right? Not necessarily cheap, right? Because it's not like you only look for cheap deals. When you actually look for any of all this, and I will have to say that because I personally, all thanks to Dr. James, who offer all these experiential trips, packages. That's how we actually previously built over 1 million consumer base, club member base, you know, and all that stuff all around Asia and around the world. And he actually, I still remember 10 years ago, or almost 11 now, that when I first got to know Dr. James and we got connected, and he told me all I need to do, because at that time nobody experienced any of all these trips. So all he did was to tell me, just bring people to the trip. Once they go on a trip, they will want to come back for more. So that's how I actually started. So when people get on a trip, they experience it, they have a taste of it, they want to come back for more, and they will bring more people to that. So at that time, when we actually look at that, I still remember we were building like just a couple of trips, you know, in a course of 1 year. But then slowly within the 3rd year, 5th year, by the 6 years, we actually literally do tens of thousands of trips. So that's why this is actually really crazy. So how we could actually offer this to the consumer market, and right now using through an app like this to connect to the consumers. Okay, so when people actually start, they of course inside the app, they can actually ask for this support, you know, customer service. They can click on orders, you know, on that. All these are all done through the app. They can add in their flight details and all. But again, this is not just this function. We are literally talking about explore here. There's a community base that people are building. We are talking about a vlog where people can actually put in their own journals. They can actually share with the world. They can actually share all their experiences. People can comment on it. People can follow you. People can like on it. And all these things is all there. And there's a live function of broadcast. You can actually look at all the people who actually start showing live and tell you where are the good places to go, what are good trips to do, and all that. This is all built into the system. You can actually check into where you have been and all that. You know, there is also a function where people, now you can see that this is actually where people actually own some digital asset. They could actually put in their digital asset. They can buy the stable token and all that to start using it. Now, if they do not know anything about digital asset, cryptocurrencies or anything, they can actually pay just by using their credit card as well. So that's where this is more like a melting pot that we actually crossed over for all the people, whether you have a digital assets, cryptocurrencies or not, and you can use your credit card. So we actually created a whole entire environment to actually get welcome anyone who actually just avid traveler. We want to travel, we want to see the world, want to get great deals, great services and all that stuff, okay? So you can see that that's all this different function is there. These are all at the back end now building up. So we are all very, very excited and looking forward to the launch of this. Of course, this is where you can actually do your referral and send it out. You can also do the setting. You can put in all the different information there, your payment modes and all that. You can actually see that. This is actually where you can put your bank details, bank cards, all that functions is all built in already. Okay, so that's where this is actually the glimpse into this whole entire so-called the features of the app. All right, so I always would tell people like, this is really our choice. Whatever we want to do, how do we want to write on the travel industry? How do we want to build on that? So really, as what Raymond earlier already told us, right, or all of us, we have the DAPP, that's phase one. That is where we actually grow our digital asset. Pretty much so of like, you are getting this digital asset as you multiply and grow this asset. Almost the same, I would say like 12 years ago, right? 11 years ago, when Bitcoin first came out, nobody even know what it is all about. I mean, when I look through the whole entire history of Bitcoin, when they first started, it was like only after 1 year. I mean, the first year when they launched is almost literally worth nothing. And then after the first year is like 30 something cents after 1 year. So we are also about 1 year, right? We also, as what Raymond said, we are like 38 cents, right? Bitcoin was about 35 or 38 or 39 cents in after the first year. Why? Because somebody actually start using it to pay for pizza, right? But if you think about it, over here, we actually already have our so-called people who actually own digital assets, CYTT, the digital asset. We already start using it to exchange for all the trips, staycations, and packages, right? So people can already know that the value of this digital asset that they hold, they can actually exchange and redeem for all these travel packages, experiences. So this is actually really invaluable. This is powerful. So if you want to continue owning this digital asset, multiply it. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm multiplying, I'm holding it. Because why? When the travel borders open, I will have enough of this digital asset so that I could actually use it towards my vacation, holidays, and all that. And if there are people who want it, I can also sell it to them and they can see that the value of it, they will want it. And then that's how we create a value. And this is just the DAPP. We haven't even connected to our own blockchain for the travel industry because that is our third phase. What you hear today is just the first phase, the DAPP, or you're looking at participating in the new app, which is the phase two, the second phase. So this second phase is our phase to go out there to build this whole entire consumer base. Once you actually understand the phase one, phase two, and then comes the phase three where we connect the whole entire blockchain up, that's where you will see the whole significance, the whole power of the travel blockchain coming into light. So of course, you can choose to do either of that right now. But if you're like myself, like Raymond, and like some of you out there, or maybe even your friend who invited you, they are part of both. All right. So there are maybe people who just come on board right now who only know about the consumer base. You can just focus on building this consumer base with us right now as well. But I would say, how about building both? All right, so that's how we actually start building and creating this whole entire network, community, global together. All right, so I hope today, this evening, or this morning for you, or afternoon for you, depending on wherever you are, right? Whether you are looking at this from a recording. So I hope this gave you a good perspective of what we are actually building. We are not speculative. We're not here to build on this to speculate the value of cryptocurrency or digital assets. Okay, we are here to build onto this whole entire platform to benefit the whole entire travel industry by allowing the people to transact. And one of the biggest dream that Dr. James has, as he shared with myself, with Raymond, with all of us, is that he really wants to actually build a system that could actually eventually allow anybody out there to be able to travel the world, see the world, regardless of their status, regardless of their income or whatever. As they actually start working hard and looking into this, they can be included in building for the travel industry so that we can actually expand this and allow more people to experience the world. Okay, so that is really a huge dream, a huge goal for all of us to come together to actually build onto this vision. All right. So at this point, at this juncture, thank you all for your time. We could actually extend a little while to actually answer any questions that you guys might have. Raymond, myself, we will answer any of the questions that you will have regarding how we actually extend and go out and build this consumer base using these applications launching going forward as well. Okay.
All right, thank you, big bro James. Yes, it was really exciting, and I always love to take a look at the Microsoft Excel sheet. Yeah, because each time when I take a look at that chart, it got me even much more exciting. And yeah, I mean, even just on the numbers that we're talking about, I would say things like so-called the numbers are really reasonable numbers. See, the thing is like so-called if we are on set on do a business, I mean, definitely we would actually get as much people as we can. I mean, of course, there's a lot of people who start asking things like, hey, I mean, so how amazing are all these trip stuff, things like this? Well, I have to say things like once the borders are open, definitely you need to go and book a trip on your own to go and check it out for yourself. So, I mean, there's actually a few things that probably, even if you're really new in this system, I mean, probably I'll just like to give some highlight so that people can actually have a much better overall view how the company would actually support. I mean, this would actually answer to one of the questions that Lawrence has actually mentioned. Yeah, brother Lawrence, go correct. Okay, so see, the thing is like this. So many people be asking, so yes, I mean, if I were to sign up as an agent, so what make it so attractive that people want to download it? See, number one, we are actually offering near wholesale price, curated trip, experiential trip. So let's take, for example, if we are able to do things like trips, probably things like so-called between like 99 US dollar to 149 or even 189. So let's say, for example, if we have like a 3 days, 2 night trip to Phuket at 99 US dollar. So the question is, would a lot of people be attracted by that? I would say yes. I mean, when people see that there's actually accommodation, airport pickup stuff, things like this, people will be attracted into trips like this. See, I like it just not the way. I mean, let's say, for example, just now, if James is actually an agent and if he were to pass it to me on the referral link. So when I take a look at it, see, I don't need to pay any money. Basically, James is a friend of mine. He passed me the link, and when I take a look at it, hey, that's like 99. Wow, James, I want to be part of it. I like to travel. I like to go for this trip. And the question is, would I go alone? I would definitely never go alone. So probably for me, I'll get another two of my friends to join along. Okay, so I can actually use my referral link and pass it to my friend, and then my friend can actually refer it to his friend. But would I get anything? No. But see, the thing is like if me and two of my friends who are actually spending, what happened is like so because James has actually gotten the agent rights and he would actually be enjoying 8% of what the three of us are spending. Okay. So to answer what the question is, we are actually talking about things like this on this on Lawrence's question. So are we giving free trips to build consumer base? Yes, the company on time to time, the company will be actually doing a lot of things like so-called this support as well. So I'm going to quote you an example. Okay, so let's say for example, if I'm actually a consumer and if I would to probably get like 100 people to download. Okay, so I'm just quoting an example. So if the company said, hey Ray, so all the consumer, if you were to get 100 people to download, okay, basically we're talking about things that download, and I'm able to get probably like some vouchers for me to offset, or probably we have these U2 tokens. Okay, so U2 tokens, I mean, it's the one U2 token is equivalent to one USDT. Okay, so probably if I have this U2 token, so instead of me paying the 99, I could actually offset like 30 away, which means I will only pay 69 because I get people to download. So probably if the company were to give more support, say for example, like if I get like 300 friends to download, I'm just quoting an example, okay, and I will be able to enjoy like a free 3 days, 2 night trip, okay. So see, the thing is like if I'm able to enjoy a trip like this, I would actually tell two of my friends, hey buddy, I mean, it's like this company is cool, they have this thing, I mean, we get more people to download it. And then when I actually ask my two of my friends to download it, he get 300, I get 300, and the other friend get 300. So total, we have like 900 of us who is actually downloading the apps. And when we start spending, what happens over here is like this. James, as an agent, would actually get to enjoy 8% of what we spend. And of course, if I want to be like what James is doing, I can actually sign up to be an agent as well. So, I mean, time is short. I mean, see, the thing is like right now is actually the best opportunity. Why? Because at this moment, people talk about things like, hey, travel low season. Yes, wait till travel is cool, then we do it. But over here, even in Singapore, when we talk about things like the travel agents, right? In Singapore, in fact, we are a small country, so that's the reason why. I mean, of course, there's actually the company is actually calculate based on the population, the average spending power, and that's actually defined like so-called how many agents, right? And in Singapore, we have only gotten 60. In fact, I think now we only left with less than 5 only. Yeah, that's how fast it works. Okay, and of course, all these are limited, and that's the reason why if you are able to caught on what we have actually just shared, this would definitely be something that you would be really be thankful to yourself and even thankful to the friend who have actually invited you here, yes, into this call, because this will probably make a huge change in your life through travel. All right. Yes, and I saw, yes, I think we saw Dr. James in the chat room. I mean, if you guys can take a look at the chat room, I mean, yes, the man himself, the founder. I mean, Dr. James has actually been saying things like, yes, we also be giving out free trips or gift token for the consumer when introduce more people to download the apps. See, the thing is like, see, the company is actually giving so much support on going into things like this. And all we need to do is just to pass the link to our people out there. I can pass it to my friends. And if my friends choose to be an agent, I'm going to ask you this question. This one is a lot of people always ask me this question and ask Big Brother James also. So we're always very happy. They say that, hey, Rhea, then I better don't go and sign agent because if I sign consumer, when they spend, I get 8%. But if my friend become an agent, my friend, I can only get 2%. So my question is, do you want to get 1%, 8%? Or probably your friend will be getting at least 1 to 2,000 people, not immediately, probably over like 1 to 2 years, your friend get like 1 or 2,000 people. Or do you want to get that 2,000 people, 2%? Yeah, so the answer lies on you. And when it comes to things like travel, I have to say, I mean, nobody say no to travel, correct? Or not? I mean, unless some people say that, yes, Ray, I don't want to take the plane because I can't take the plane. In fact, I met someone who actually, that I really saw, someone who really loved to travel, but then she couldn't take the plane at all. So unless if you fall into the category, then probably not a problem. But I still want to ask you this question. Do you have friends around you who wants to travel? If yes, then you can be an entrepreneur. This you can take it as a business for you as well. Even on the side
In
income,
fact,
just
if
like
you
what Big
guys,
Brother James, at least got
yeah, if
12,000, correct or not?
yeah,
Correct
if
or
you
not?
guys were to look, remember earlier on when we talked
Mm,
about the whole entire spreadsheet, right?
correct.
So literally, as if you are just looking at yourself creating the consumer base, yes, it's good money and all that stuff. But I would say if you realize that we are talking about if you build on your agent network and your rep network, that multiplying effect is even more significant. So that's why this is actually is a teamwork, is actually going out there to build this whole entire network of your distribution channel. So if you think about it, this is what John Paul Getty was actually one of the
Yeah,
first few billionaires in the world. He
JPG.
said, I'd rather get paid on 1% from 100 people rather than 100% of my own.
1%. Yeah, correct.
You get what I mean? So that's why this is actually really, we built up this whole entire platform here through Dr. James, and really, really thank him for that, where he actually offered us this platform where we can actually go out there and create really a generational wealth for all of us, and right
Yeah.
on the travel industry. Yeah.
Yep. So another good news from Dr. James, we'll be giving out some special incentive to the leaders who start signing more agents or reps too. I mean, see, the thing is like there's a lot of support from the company. Yes, I mean, this is like the pioneering stage. This is really important. Not only this, it takes two hands to clap to make a success business. I mean, the company needs to give us as an agent a lot of support, and definitely it goes the same thing. Once we get the support, I mean, as an agent, this is actually the best time for us to look for more visionary who can see it exactly like you and us, and then this is how we can actually build the business to much further height. And of course, there's another question just now from bro Lawrence Go. So I think just now never answered his question. He was asking this question: what would happen after the 6th of June? Okay, after the promotion. Not a problem. On 7th of June, I mean, we will be actually rolling out the new promotion. Yes, and then you are able to get all the latest update on what is upcoming for the 7th of June promotion. All right, cool. So we don't see any
Okay.
more question coming in. All right, okay. So I think everyone have really understand. If you're listening to this recorded, I mean, if you decide to take on whether on the CYTT digital asset or even the U2 agents rights for the agents or the rep, please connect it back to the friends who have actually invited you here into this call. Cool.
Okay, thank you everybody for listening and participating in the Q&A. So we hope that we really can see each other in person very soon. All right, despite we can't travel now, but hopefully we can really see each other in person rather than just over Zoom.
Yep.